Hello, welcome to the Vigilance Committee. Today we are going to have a special guest with me today. He's running a little bit behind, and that's Wildman Audits. And if you guys, if the mods will spam his link throughout the chat, I did put it in there, and just put it in there every once in a while. So I do want to recognize everybody that's here. There's Jimmy Gonzalez, Tyrants Beware, welcome. Let's see who else we got here. Kev Factor, good to see you. STD, becoming one of my favorite mods. Not to leave out Tyrants Beware, he's not bad at it either. Then there's South Carolina, Phoenix Volunteer, 88 Title II Auditors, welcome. Jugalassus, good to see you, brother. Let's see who else we got here. Mr. Carey. What does he say? First, wait, what? Playing his antics again. Yeah, if you're not first, you're last. Jocko, welcome. Jocko, Kansas Cop Watch. All right, who else we got here? Let's OTVO. Good to see you, brother. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and present here. Get this up on my screen. Wildman Audits. Let's make this big. Let me do that. Let's go over here. All right. So his channel details. He's got 4,000. It's like 4,000, almost 5,000 subscribers. He's got 25 videos. He joined YouTube back in December 21st of 2014. And he said, a free man, a wild passion for standing for our rights, liberty, justice, and freedom for all. So that's the description about his channel there, which is pretty cool. All right, so we got that out of the way. Oh, I do see he's not in the panel yet. He said he needed to get to a place with Wi-Fi, so he said he was like 6 minutes away when I talked to him. So what we're going to do now is, let me scroll down the screen here so see who else is showing up. Jody D, good to see you. Jethro Miller, Justin Thompson, always good to see you, brother. Four Corners, fist in the air. Please be sure and drop any channel owners links in here, including Let's OTVO. We want to support his channel. They're doing good work, him and Rick Jonesy. Daisy May, always good to see Daisy May. She's one of the best supporters of this community that there is. She knows how to make the calls, send out the emails. Tennessee Transparency, good to see you. Scroll down. Okay. All right. I think I've got everybody so far. So I'm going to present another video here. I'm going to just play this video while we're waiting on Wildman, and we'll ask him any questions that we might have once he gets up here on the panel. But I definitely want to show this. Big here. William L., good to see you. All right. Can everybody see this screen okay? Give me a one if you can see it okay. And then let me back up on my, there we go. All right, thanks guys. All right, let's go ahead and just play it.
I love you, Bobby.
What's that soul?
I like this intro.
Wildman Audits has a unique video for you today. This is me arguing my first appeal against the attorney for Chief Lawless.
And guys, this is an appellate court here, so there's 3 judges up here, as you can see. That's the other side over there, and then this is Wildman Audits. He's got. Doesn't he remind you of another auditor out there? Look at those dreads. Wow, Dr. Justin Spies, the dreaded rabble rouser. It reminds me of him. But I'm going to continue this. You'll be able to see how articulate and intelligent this man is.
My name is Cody Henderson. I am the appellant, and I was the respondent to a civil protection order, which is the underlying case that is being appealed here. And the civil protection order was filed by a police officer who erroneously asserted that I had caused him and his family some type of threat. I don't know the specifics beyond that.
Let me just ask you, Mr. Henderson, in your brief, you stated that when they tried to serve you with the copy of the protection order, you said you declined to contract with the officers. What do you mean by contract?
I mean that I have the fundamental constitutional right to contract, to enter contracts, and to not enter contracts. So that means whenever someone comes up to enter an agreement with me to talk, that is a contractual agreement to speak to each other. And I meant that I did not choose to contract with those officers. I did not choose to speak to them in any effect of the matter. And I think the key difference here, because a lot of people look at this situation and they think of it in a criminal context. In a criminal context, it would be different. The officers obviously would have probable cause of a crime being committed, which would allow them to detain me and to violate or temporarily put my Fourth Amendment right on hold while they're detaining me for the crime. Now, in this case, it's completely different because this is a civil protection order, so it must.
What do you think the judge was trying to get at when he says, "What do you mean by you didn't want to contract with him"? Anybody have any ideas of what people think when somebody says, "I didn't choose to contract with the officer"? Has anybody got any ideas of what I'm thinking? Yeah, Tennessee Transparency called it out right there. And just so you guys are aware, he is not a sovereign citizen. Doesn't claim to be. Doesn't. None of that could be further from. It couldn't be further from the truth. So he's not one of those guys. Okay. And I know that the government tries to paint that picture to anybody that is trying to assert their rights. So 1A auditors, investigative journalists, constitutional advocates, all of that. So he is not a sovereign citizen, just so everybody knows. He's not even in that realm. All right. South Bama Gump, good to see you. Somebody new. Bob Niehoff just showed up. Nice to see you. Yeah, it is a trick question, isn't it, STD? They're gonna, yeah. I mean, they do that all the time. Yeah, it's a label that tyrants like to put on people. So the judge is already kind of, being a little bit confrontational, I would say, but I don't know. Peace Dynamo, good to see you. Haven't seen you before, so welcome. Integrity News Now, always good to see you. Yeah, a sovereign citizen is what they use to marginalize good people standing up for themselves. Absolutely, I completely agree with that. All right, Peace Dynamo. Okay, so let me take this off the screen here and we'll continue. I'm still waiting for Wildman to get logged in. He just texted me saying he was getting logged in, so shouldn't be too long now.
Follow Ohio civil rules of procedure. Clearly in my brief, I lay out the civil rules of procedure that apply, which is Rule 4.1, capital B2, lowercase a and lowercase b. Those are two separate subsections. Lowercase a states that the sheriffs do have the ability to come up and serve someone with civil process. But section lowercase b states if that service is refused, which I did, I refused it, then they must follow a whole different procedure, which requires them by law to send it certified mail, which they did not do. Instead,
All right, let me pause it again here. I'm just kind of trying to stall a little bit to give Wildman Audits some time to get in here. Peace Dynamo. I follow my friends, LOL, Juggalassus, and William L. So I'm going to ask this of everyone right now. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like. And do subscribe to this channel. You won't be sorry. We're going to put out good content of boots on the ground. I do a lot of interviews with a lot of different auditors out there. No drama on this channel. We make sure of that. I do have a drama channel. It's called the Vigilance Committee Cliff Williams. We'll be putting out a lot of content on that channel. So if you guys are into drama and all that stuff, it'll be on the other channel. I don't really care for drama, but man, oh man, they know how to make money on with drama. So I don't really care about making money in my activism. So, but anyway, be sure and subscribe to this channel. This is where the real work is done. All right, here we go.
they arrested me for refusing it, which is not okay, and it's a violation of my constitutional rights, and a 1983 lawsuit is going to come from that, but that's a separate issue. This.
All right, Wildman Audits is here. Did you want your camera on or off? Either way, I'm going to put you up on stage. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Introducing Wildman Audits. Welcome, brother. It's good to see you finally made it. Can you hear me okay?
Second, I'm not able to hear you yet.
Okay.
I gotta figure out this software.
Yeah.
All right, I can hear you now.
Okay, good deal. And welcome. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself? We kind of got started without you.
First of all, I apologize for the technical difficulties and the tardiness. Secondly, I'm Wildman Audits. Hello, everyone. I also go by Cody. That's my normal first name. And on YouTube, I'm Wildman Audits. So nice to meet you all. Nice to see you all. And thank you for hosting this wonderful podcast.
Thank you. And welcome, brother. So I've been just kind of talking with the chat a little bit. We've played about 2 minutes and 50 seconds of the auditor had enough first appeal, 12th District Court. And we're about almost 3 minutes into it. What do you suppose? I wanted to kind of ask you, when that judge asked you about contracting, what do you think he was trying to get at there? Because the chat had an idea of what they were doing.
So my thoughts on it is that they were trying to sort out what level or degree of legal intelligence that I'm operating on. Whether I'm coming in as a layman who doesn't really know much about fundamental law and constitutional law and contractual law, or whether I'm someone who already understands all of this and I'm coming into it well informed, because they're trying to figure out what they can kind of how they can railroad me is what I take that as.
Yeah, the chat and I all agreed because I asked them the same question. And most people said that they were trying to paint you as a sovereign citizen type because you mentioned the word contract. You didn't want to contract with the officers, so that was the purpose of that question. We believe anyway.
I agree with you. Yeah, I could see that for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I do want to recognize somebody else that just came into the chat here. Harvey Freebird, good to see you, brother. I binge watched his channel last week. Very impressive. I was going to highlight his channel, but I got sidetracked. All right. Well, welcome, Harvey. Glad to see you. And how I found Wildman Audits too was last week. Rogue Nation featured him on his channel, and that's why I went over to his channel and I got in contact with him, and we decided that he would interview with me, and I'm glad he's here. So that was basically the only question we really had. We were noticing here that you, I mentioned that you have these dreadlocks, right? And I
Yeah.
know of another person in this community that has dreadlocks as well. Have you ever heard of the dreaded rabble rouser?
No, I haven't.
Okay, check out his channel, brother.
Awesome.
He's more of a,
Awesome.
he's a First Amendment auditor, but mainly free speech, and he goes to city council meetings a lot and says a lot of swear words, and they try to throw him out. So he's
As they
taking
normally do.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to continue this this video unless you've got something to say. We're almost 3 minutes in here, so was there something in particular that you wanted the audience to know about?
One of the interesting things I want to bring our attention to as it gets there is the arguments that are about to come from the city attorney, and just the fact that she has a bar degree, or she has a certificate from the bar, and she has a law degree. And if you compare the argument that I'm making to the argument she's making, it's kind of interesting. That's all I have to say.
Okay, yeah, I think it's interesting too. Here we go.
The issue here is my constitutional rights were clearly violated by the people who claim they served me according to law. They did not serve me according to law.
Well,
I just
the trial
explained
court's
that.
record. The trial court's record indicates that you're served. I know you're saying you weren't, but the trial court's
And I
record.
included
Let me
the
finish.
video.
Let me finish. Finish.
Wait a minute. Weren't you in the middle of talking when he so rudely interrupted you?
Yeah, that's what I thought was interesting. Is he got on me about interrupting him when he was in fact the one who interrupted me to begin with. So it's kind of this.
He's wearing a black robe, so he can do that, right?
Right, rules for thee, but not for me.
Exactly.
He's above the rules in the law.
Yep. All right, here we go.
The trial court's record reflects that you were served, and there was a hearing where you could have raised the issues that you raise now on appeal, but you didn't appear for that hearing.
I didn't get notice of the hearing.
But you didn't raise that in your motion for new trial.
I did raise in my motion for new trial. I raised the fact that I wasn't served according to law in my motion for new trial. So
With the
there's
civil protection order, not the notice of the June 17th hearing.
I didn't get notice of the June 17th hearing, which came with the civil protection order. The civil protection order itself had a hearing date all attached with it and everything with it. I didn't receive any of that paperwork.
That hearing was continued and a new hearing was
new trial. I raised the fact that I did not receive any mail from them. They sent the mail to the wrong address, and I didn't receive any of those notices. Furthermore, there's an affidavit that proves that. And
I love this, man. I love this that you kept talking, and the judge was trying to argue with you, and you didn't let him get away with his narrative at all. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I had to put my foot down because he was trying to insert a narrative on the record that was not factual. He was trying to act like I didn't challenge that, when in my motion for new trial, I clearly did challenge it. And I wrote an affidavit that challenged the service and challenged the fact that they sent the notices to the wrong address. So all of that was raised in the trial court. And when he brought that up, he tried to act like it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. He's trying to gaslight. Make you think
Exactly.
you're crazy.
and asserts that, and there's no evidence that can rebuttal it. Further than that, these officers are already caught on body camera.
There's no evidence that can rebut that.
So the reason I said that is the reason I said that is because when I filed the motion for new trial, they never filed a motion in response or opposition. So they never opposed the motion for new trial, meaning they did not argue or dispute any of the facts that I laid therein, which means that now on the appeals level, they have to assume that what I put in my motion for new trial is fact, because I've established it in the trial court and it was not rebutted in the trial court. So I brought emphasis to that in that kind of little way.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, just the way that you do this, man, is brilliant. You guys really need to recognize the brilliance here because all the way through this, well, let's just continue. Let's let everybody see it.
Camera, violating my constitutional rights and never serving me that paper. This same sheriff office has a body camera policy to have body cameras on when they're interacting with the public and doing business. So if they did serve me that, they would have to have recollection of it on body camera. It does not exist because they never served it to me. They arrested me, took me to jail, strapped me to a restraint chair, and tortured me because they think that that's the proper way to punish someone for not obeying their orders in relation to a civil summons, which is not okay, and that's not the proper procedure to law. Furthermore, I'll let the other side go, and I'll come back.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Good morning. May it please the court. Mr. Henderson, my name is Ashley Hetzel on behalf of appellee William Jason Lawless. What's required by law for a civil protection order?
I love that name, Jason Lawless. Now he's the chief of police, right?
Yeah, that's Chief Lawless, and he's the chief of the local village that I live in, and he's actually just had someone pulled over when I was on my way here. He's got to be able to afford the lawsuit that I've currently got him in. So
yeah. Well, the name fits, Lawless.
Absolutely.
Is the notice and the opportunity to be heard. Mr. Henderson received notice of the protection order and the hearing, and he had an opportunity to be heard at that hearing. That's what the trial court had in front of it, that the sheriff's deputies properly served Mr. Henderson with the protection order and the notice. At the hearing, Mr. Henderson, for whatever reason, chose not to appear. It wasn't until after the hearing had been concluded that Mr. Henderson called the court to let them know that he was running late to the hearing. Like I mentioned in our brief and just now, the hearing had already been concluded.
Can we actually consider the trial court's statement that he called after the hearing?
Objection hearsay.
This isn't a trial. This is just on appeal. It's just pure arguments. So she can make any presentation, include hearsay if she wants to. That's okay here.
Okay, hearsay is part of evidence.
Yeah.
I believe that the trial court was in the best position and it's within their discretion to consider evidence. And so based on what was in front of the trial
Well,
court.
but my question is, it seems that the evidence you're talking about was offered by the trial court itself in its decision. Is that an appropriate role for the trial court to play in putting that statement on the record?
We believe so. We believe that the trial court's in the best position to consider that evidence and the credibility. And it was also in front of the trial court that the service had been perfected on Mr. Henderson and that he had notice of the hearing and an opportunity to be heard at that hearing.
Okay. How do you respond to his argument under the B subsection that the officers, he says, didn't follow the correct procedure?
Mr. Henderson raised those arguments in his motion for a new trial that was filed with the trial court. And so my response is that the trial court, it's within its sound discretion to consider those, and the trial court chose to deny the motion for a new trial.
So, in other words, it was okay to arrest you, strap you to a chair, and torture you instead of actually doing what they were supposed to be doing. This is kind of what she's saying there, right?
In other words, she doesn't care what the judge decided as long as it's in her favor. She's going to agree with it. Is what it kind of sounds like. She's just going along with it because it sides with her argument. She doesn't have any further argument. She doesn't have any legal standing. She doesn't have any explanation of how it's within the law or how it's within the sound discretion. All she does is just keep repeating the same line over and over.
So, do we have any video of what of them strapping you to a chair? Have you been able to get access to that? Did they have any cameras where you were at that time?
I actually still am trying to get those cameras. I have the cameras of them arresting me and taking me to the jail and everything that led up to that. And that body camera footage alone got the bailiff fired because he conspired with the two officers to help them falsify the police statement and report to make it sound a certain way as if I had broken the law when they violated my rights. And
Wow.
so the bailiff had been working there for over 5 years, and the judge actually terminated him over this.
Wow. All right. All right. And eventually, once this is all done, I'm pretty sure that's the reason why you're not getting that camera footage of you being strapped to a chair, is because this is still ongoing, right? Did they come up with a ruling on this yet? So I know this was about a week ago, so they probably haven't.
No, we haven't heard anything yet, but I'm eagerly waiting. Every day I'm checking my emails, I'm checking my mailbox, and waiting to see what the 12th District has in store, because the day that I hear back is the day that I either begin preparing for the remanded trial or I begin preparing to file in the Supreme Court.
Okay. So I'm going to play this, and I want you to interrupt it whenever you want to say something. Okay.
Okay.
So what is your position as to what the police officers, how they served him? He's claiming that he refused and there's another procedure that wasn't followed.
My response to that is that the sheriff's deputies had returned the service to the trial court as being perfected. And that's what the trial court considered, is that the service was perfected.
Okay.
So you're saying essentially that there was a document in front of the court that said it was properly served. He's saying on appeal that it wasn't properly served.
That's
But
correct.
are you saying that's not in the record?
No, it's in trial docket number 8, is that the notice to serve was returned and executed on Mr. Henderson on May 21st, 2024 by the sheriff's deputies.
So they lied.
Yes.
Or they're ignorant. They're ignorant of what the process is supposed to be anyway, right?
No, it's more malicious than that. Because I have a current lawsuit against Lawless and these other deputies are friends with him, they were assisting him in falsifying this record so that they could get this civil protection order in time to prevent me from deposing of Lawless. Because if there's a civil protection order, I can't speak to him, meaning that I can't depose him for the lawsuit and get valuable information and evidence to use against him to sustain a motion for summary judgment or some depository motion like that. So it was a strategic move of gamemanship, and they falsified the affidavit. The two sheriff deputies signed that they personally handed me the service of the documents. But honestly, the only time that I've ever seen those officers is when they had their body camera on. And the whole time they have their body camera on, they never hand me the documents. And so it's true, it's clear to see that in my affidavit for the motion for new trial, I even said and swore under oath that they committed perjury under Ohio state law, which is a third-degree felony. So honestly, these officers should be facing criminal charges for what they did by falsifying that statement to the trial court.
I agree. What do you think of Tennessee Transparency's statement? Can you see that?
Absolutely. We need more people standing up. We need more people representing themselves. The attorneys are oftentimes working with the courts, and when that's the case, we have to learn the law and go in the courtroom and represent ourselves.
And I know the courts and lawyers always say, if you try to defend yourself, you have a fool for an attorney. But I think that's just gaslighting people. We can learn. Now, myself personally, I don't think I could ever do pro se because I'm not that articulate under pressure, and I would probably miss a lot of things. And I do see that you probably have some notes here to kind of guide you as well. Am I right?
Well, actually, I had written a lot of notes, about 4 pages of notes the night before, and so I was well versed in it. But when it came time to actually speak in front of these three judges, something just took over and just said, get up here and be passionate and speak the law. And I felt confident in what I'd been studying. There was a couple points that I missed, and one of them I'd like to point out is the fact that my motion for new trial, like I said, was not opposed in the trial court. And if I would have mentioned that, then a lot of her arguments would have been kind of moot at that point. Because they had a chance to argue against my motion for new trial, and they failed to do so. So now laches incurs, and they lose the right to argue against it now. And so another thing that I want us to pay attention to is right here at the end of her argument. And I'd like you to pause right after she finishes, because she says something that is, I take it as bringing fraud upon the court. She misrepresented a fact of law to the court, and I think she did so intentionally to make me look bad and to make it seem as if the merits of the case could not be reviewed by the appellate court, when in fact that is entirely false.
Okay. All right. So let's let her finish up, and then I'll pause it.
And then the burden shifts if somebody wants to challenge service. The person who's challenging the service would have to bring forth evidence that they weren't properly served.
Correct.
Okay.
Finally, I would just like to make the last point, because Mr. Henderson did begin to speak as to the merits of the civil protection order. And I would just like to point out that his opportunity to appeal the merits was filed, if at all, 2 days late. So he has foreclosed on appealing the merits of the civil protection order. And if the court has no further questions, he would rest. Thank you, Your Honor.
Wow. I mean, she's trying to use a technicality too. You're not an attorney, so they have to give you some levity on that. You know what I mean?
Yes, and also here I'll explain the full legal situation and the fact that what she said is entirely false and a misrepresentation to the court. So the order that was rendered by the judge originally happened on June 17th. About 4 days later, I filed a motion for new trial. Well, when I filed that motion for new trial, it actually continued the case until the judge responded to that motion. Well, 17 days later, the judge responded to the motion. They never opposed it, and then 4 days after that, I filed a notice of appeal. So technically, when I filed my notice of appeal, it was 23 days after the judge had rendered his original order. And in the state of Ohio, we have 21 days to file an appeal. So she's claiming that I was 2 days late to file an appeal on the merits. But here's where she's wrong. Since I filed the motion for new trial as a means to exhaust my remedies in the trial court, the time to file an appeal on the merits was continued until 21 days after the judge ruled in that final appealable order. So technically, I had rightfully preserved my right to appeal on all issues previous in this case, and she intentionally misrepresented the fact that the time had passed to the courts.
Wow. Okay.
She's
All right, so I do
playing
want to
dirty.
recognize. Yeah, she's playing very dirty. I do want to recognize some more people that have come into the chat. David, New York, New York. Wonderful to see you, brother.
Welcome, David.
And then the dreaded rabble rouser has shown up. So we were just talking about him, and I said you
My
need to go
dreaded brother. What's up, man?
Two very intelligent people, you know. So dreaded rabble rouser is actually he's got a PhD, and he was actually a college professor at one point too. So
Wow.
So I'm meeting these people with dreads, and they're highly. I mean, they could probably talk over me because I can't keep up with the intelligence level that you guys have. So just so you're aware. All right, but welcome, dreaded rabble rouser. Good to see you, brother.
All right. First of all, I did rebut the notice from the sheriffs that it was served on me, and I did that in my motion for new trial because I didn't get the opportunity of the hearing as I should, and I think that my Fifth Amendment right and 14th Amendment right to due process has been clearly egregiously violated here because I have not gotten the right to a hearing, and I proved that in the body camera footage that I included and attached to my motion to new trial. Which
you have to understand, when you motion for new trial is not challenging the service. When you're motion for new trial, you're saying you just want the opportunity to be heard, that you didn't commit these acts. So it's almost acknowledging that you got served.
No, my motion for new trial was me motioning for new trial based on the fact that the order was issued contrary to law, and I was just exerting my remedies as appellate courts generally recommend for people to do in the trial courts, is to exert their remedies before bringing something before the appellate court. So I did that out of honor of you guys. I tried to file this motion for new trial to have it dealt with on the trial court level, hoping that the judge would realize that there was an egregious violation made and there was a mistake made, and that he would give me the actual right to a hearing that I, as an American, have the right to. But unfortunately, he didn't do that. Instead, what he did is he responded with an entry that says that the court finds that the respondent was served according to law, despite his efforts to thwart said service. This is hostile language used against me. I did not thwart said service. I exercised my constitutional rights. And to twist the words and act as if I am thwarting something by exercising my fundamental rights is egregious. And not only egregious, it's hostile towards me and prejudiced me massively. Furthermore, he goes on, and the rest of his reliance in the entire order is based on hearsay that he heard apparently from his clerk between a phone call that I had personally with his clerk. And with his clerk, this phone call did not say that. What I said is, I don't know when there's a hearing, but I heard from my current attorney there's a hearing in this case. Can you tell me when it is? She said, actually, it just happened 30 minutes ago. I said, can you get me together every record in the case? I'm going to pick it up in an hour. Drove up there immediately, picked it up, and filed this motion for new trial as quickly as I possibly humanly could, within days. And I'm not an attorney, by the way. Okay? So the amount of work that I put into this is ridiculous. And really what I'm appealing here is I'm appealing this entry from Judge Bender here from the trial court that is completely based off hearsay. That's against the rules of evidence, first and foremost, for the judge to enter hearsay against me. For two, the judge entering his own evidence as the practicing of law, which is a violation of Ohio Judicial Rule of Conduct 3.1, thou shalt not practice law. You can't practice law from the bench. That's a rule that goes back all the way to the Magna Carta. So we can take this back to common law to the back of the beginning. But this is an egregious violation of my rights on multiple fronts, whether it goes to the sheriffs violating my constitutional rights when they didn't let me leave and they didn't let me refuse the contract and send it certified mail according to law. That's the first egregion of my constitutional rights. Number two is the judge acted clearly contrary to the law because he introduced his own evidence against me, which is biased and prejudiced me directly. And he based his whole finding off of this thwart said service, this hostile language that he's using against me without any case law, without any citation to evidence. And as I said, I've submitted video that proves that I wasn't served properly. There's obviously prejudice by the judge. It's ridiculous what is in this order right here. I can't believe that somebody that went to law school wrote this, because my writings are far more intelligent and artful than to say someone thwarted said service by exercising their constitutional rights.
Wow. Wow. And we talked about this. I mean, we were on the phone for a couple of hours talking about this very thing right here that you did, speaking with emotion, but so logical at the same time. These judges can't possibly rule against you. I mean, it would be unfathomable if they did. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I think I'm right. What do you guys think in the chat? I want to hear some of what you guys think about what he just did here.
Yeah, please let us know in the comments. Let's get some discussion going because, I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but it seems like a strong argument to be made that the judge himself in his order showed the fact that he was prejudiced against me, and not only prejudiced, but he violated the law by introducing his own evidence. I mean, is the judge representing the other party, or are they supposed to be fair and impartial? This is crazy.
Yeah, they're supposed to be fair and impartial, but clearly that judge was not. And hence the reason why we're here in front of three judges. Man, oh man, I hope they took your argument to heart. I mean, you could just kind of see. Look, the one on the left there, he's like this, like, oh shit, what's he saying? And then you got the other one with he's going, whoa. And the other one is leaning forward. He's very attentive to what you're saying right now. And she looks just like.
I've got something interesting. The judge on the right with the dark hair, so he's actually been on the Ohio Board of Rules of Procedure and Judicial Conduct for the last 15 years. So he helps review and make changes to the Ohio Civil Rules of Procedure, which I've brought up in my appeal, and the Ohio Judicial Rules of Procedure that the judge violated that I put in my appeal. So he understands these rules extremely well, if not better than any other judge in the state. And so it's interesting how he was the one who asked the city attorney the questions about it. And one more thing I would like to point out is these judges are required to hold strict scrutiny on the judge and his actions because they represent the entire judiciary. Whereas I'm just a pro se layman, they don't have to hold the same strict standards on me as they would a judge when they're looking at my conduct versus, his conduct.
Right.
So.
Or another attorney. Bob Nehum, what do you mean by your statement there? I think the judges will side with him. Side with who? The judge or with Wildman? All right. And then Tennessee Transparency says it's not a channel. What's up with that? Oh, went to sub. Okay. Yeah. Tennessee Transparency doesn't, I mean, he's got channels, but he's not really an auditor. He's more of a supporter. All right. Let me catch up in the chat here a little bit. I might have been off on what I just said too. I don't know. I'm not keeping up with the chat that well. So this is by far one of my favorite live streams. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Dave. And it helps to have a good guest too. So.
Well, of course, I've got one of the best hosts on YouTube. So thank you to the Vigilance Committee. I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate those kind words as well. I'm not. I don't know. Lion One, good to see you, sister. All right, Stephanie Jenks. Now, Stephanie Jenks is my favorite moderator. I'm kind of biased that way, but all of my mods are pretty good. They get the links in here that we want. And I've told them to spam your channel specifically because we definitely want to get people over to it. Now, I'm not going to share the last 3 minutes of this video. I don't know that there's all that much more to it, but I do want to direct everybody over to Wildman Audits if you want to watch the rest of this. So we're at 13 minutes and 20 seconds. So after this live stream, go over to his channel, subscribe, hit the like button, and watch the rest of this particular video, which is Auditor Had Enough, First Appeal, 12th District Court, Constitutional Right. And with that, I'm going to drop this video. I've got another one set up here for us. And share. So I think this is where a lot of things stemmed from. I believe this is one of your older videos.
Yes, absolutely. And you're accurate on both of those points.
Yeah. And it's only 5 minutes long, but you guys will be able to understand well, let's just play the part of the video here. We're talking about Chief Lawless, right? And
Yes,
we'll
this
be
is
able to
Chief
see him.
Lawless, and they had used the mayor's court to wrongfully suspend my license at this point, and he had went hands-on with me multiple times without lawful reason to do so. And so this was in the heat of my rights being egregiously violated time after time after time again. And this was kind of me saying, hey, dude, I've had enough, you know?
Yep. Here we go.
Yep. Hey, fuck you, buddy. Got one of these for you. So I got one of these for you.
Oh, he's number one. He's number one.
The fact he turned around is the funny part. The fact he stopped in the middle of the road and turned around.
Oh yeah, he's butt hurt.
That goes to show his ego. He just can't move on, you know?
Yep. Here we go.
One of these. So I got one of these for you. Fuck you, buddy. You're a piece of shit. You grabbed me in there and hurt my arm.
What are you talking about?
For no reason in the middle of court. I have it on film, bro. And the magistrate saw it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys, on the lower right-hand screen, that's what you're seeing, what he's talking about here. Okay. So,
it was only a week prior, maybe 2 weeks prior.
You okay? Do you need
No, fuck you. That's all I want. That's all I need is fuck you.
Not very nice.
I don't have to be nice. Fuck you. You grabbed my arm and fucking almost broke it. That's not very nice. You piece of shit.
You hurt your arm?
You hurt my arm.
I did?
Yeah, when you grabbed me in that courtroom and grabbed me up and broke my phone. And I had to get a new phone.
You broke your phone?
You broke the phone by grabbing me up. It's clear on camera and I can show it to you. Actually, yeah, I'll show it to you right in the middle of the courtroom.
Well, how'd you do that? Broke your phone?
You broke the phone.
Well, whatever you want to say, but how do you have video?
Because you guys have video in the public space of the public office up there. So I got your video, buddy.
I got it too.
Yeah, but you don't have any audio up there, just like you don't wear your body cam, even though you guys have them. Why don't you ever wear your body cam?
I wear it when I need to.
You wear it when you need to.
he wears it when when he looks good and he's put in a good light, right? He doesn't.
Right. He only wears it when he wants to, which it's funny he says that.
It's going to benefit him. Yeah.
Because where's the proper policy? In the state of Ohio, you have to have a body camera policy, which would determine, when you need to use it and when you don't. And instead of leaving it to policy, he leaves it to his unfettered discretion to use it whenever he wants.
Crazy. Well, we'll play a little more of this. I'm not going to play the whole thing.
Lawless. Well, I a copy of, and I'm requesting right now official copy of your body cam procedure policy.
Go up there and request it. I ain't got no problem.
I've actually already got your book. So.
Well, then you got it.
Well, no, it's not even in there. So you're going to make.
You just made a verbal request, and he has to fulfill it. Did he fulfill it?
No, he didn't fulfill it.
Of course not.
Yeah, he's not professional. Pick up something last minute, and I'll catch you doing. I'll catch you doing that too.
I'm telling you, it's in there.
Yeah, I got the old book, bro.
Old book?
Yeah, the book that you gave me, at like maybe the beginning of the year. And why do you got an out of uniform dipshit with you?
Man, this is the freaking pastor.
Sweet, right there, Daisy May. She just subscribed to you. And I think I talked to you over the phone without her, didn't I? So,
yeah. It's coming full circle. Thank you. Appreciate the sub.
And this is another person right here, too, that huge supporter of the constitutional advocates. They will do, background work, make phone calls, send emails to government entities, all that kind of stuff. In fact, most of my people do this. Most people that come into this chat, they are actual supporters. If they don't support financially, they support with work behind the scenes. So everybody that comes in this channel, here's another one right here. This lady knows how to do a lot of research. Very, very good. And Nikki, do promote your channel in here too, because I am letting people know that they should come over and interview with you and your channel. So be sure and put your link in there as well. Here we go.
Be a little bit more respectful to a man of God.
I don't
Okay.
care. I don't care who he is. If he's with you, he's not a man of God.
You don't even know this guy, and you're saying bad stuff about him. He's
What,
a freaking
there's
pastor of
a separation between church and state. You're of the state and he's of the church. So what is he doing with you if he's a pastor and you're a law officer?
To be honest with you, he's here for everybody.
How
He's
is
here for you if you need prayed for. He's here for us if we need prayed for. He's here for everybody.
what does he have to do with the government? You're part of the government. And why is he associated with you while you're in your official duties as an officer? Why do you have a pastor riding around with you?
I have a right of him.
Why?
I just told
Are you
he's a
training him?
pastor.
Are you training him to be a law officer? Are you training him?
What does it have to do with him?
Are you training him?
You can't.
He's in public property on a.
He's in public property.
Yeah, this car is public property. He's sitting inside public property, wasting tax dollars with you, riding around all buddy. Because he's sitting in here just jacking off with you all the time.
You are so rude.
Yeah, I'm rude.
This is a fucking pastor.
Yeah, well, I'm a high priest. I'm a high priest of a Native American church and Rastafarian. I'm a Rastafarian priest. I'm a Rastafarian priest, and you've never treated me with respect. You've never.
Exactly. So he's going to treat a pastor because they're probably the same. They go to the same church, probably.
Exactly.
So he highly respects him, but he has zero respect for you because of the way he's treated you. So, and harassed and harangued, and we're going to show more of that too. So I'm not going to show the rest of this one. Go to Wildman Audits channel if you want to see the last couple of minutes of it. All right, let's present this next one I've got up here, and I believe. Let's see. This is one of your most popular ones, I believe. 116,000 views.
Yep, this is the one.
Yep, and it was 3 months ago. Yeah. So I'm hearing some background noise. You must be in like a coffee shop or something like that, Wildman.
Yeah, I am in a coffee shop, and they got a radio speaker right above me, but it's the only outlet I could find. So
no worries.
I
if you want to, if you want to mute yourself while we're doing other things, and then when you're ready to talk, or if I ask a question, just unmute at that time. That'll work. Perfect. All right. Let's press play and go ahead and interrupt this whenever you want. I really like that intro.
I love you, Bobby.
What's that soul?
In this video, we'll see.
I hope that's not copyrighted music, is it? No? Okay, good.
Judge Peters of Circleville Municipal Court immediately dismiss with prejudice this charge from none other than Chief Lawless of New Holland.
What do we have here?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Hi.
I think we have more wasting of tax dollars is what we have by Chief Jason Lawless.
I'm not going to make a comment, okay?
That's okay.
I'm just going to get you arraigned and get your not guilty plea on the books, okay?
I have a couple little things to put on the record, nothing big, but
Okay,
the first thing is have to do with jurisdiction, which can be brought up at any point.
okay.
I want to make it clear that I'm here under special appearance. Nothing about my appearance today is to grant the court personal jurisdiction over me. I'm only here under threat or duress of arrest or pain and suffering, seeing as they have come and kidnapped me and arrested me falsely multiple times. Furthermore, I would like this immediately scheduled for a probable cause hearing because I need to understand, I need the state to prove that there's probable cause in this case, because as far as I can tell, there is none. Furthermore, no constitutional rights will be waived in this case at all. And so therefore, I'm stating that I'm exercising my Sixth Amendment right of self-representation. And
So you don't want to apply for an attorney?
well, I would like the courts to appoint a standby counsel as co-counsel. So I will therefore retain both my right of self-representation and the right to have the assistance of counsel by means of standby counsel. According to Simmons versus United States, the Supreme Court has.
Let's remember that. Simmons versus the United States, guys. So if you do want to represent yourself and have counsel. In addition to that, we all have that right, right?
Yeah, this is one of the interesting ways that I found to navigate through the court is they try to get you in these black and whites, yes or no. And so if you decide to represent yourself, they want you to waive your right to appointed counsel. Well, if you decide to appointed counsel, they want you to waive your right to self-representation. And so what I found out is by citing Simmons versus United States, I argue that I don't have to surrender any of my constitutional rights. I can retain them all. So I'm going to retain my right to represent myself, and I'm going to have a standby co-counsel on the side that you guys appoint for me.
Yep. And I thought that was very important to point out to people because not everybody knows this. Even in our community, they don't know or understand it. So I wanted to make sure and emphasize that. So great points here, brother. You're doing really good work. You need to know that. And it's all stemming from this crazy police chief that's frustrating. Um, it's all happening to you. Is this the reason why you started to audit in the first place? Is because of this type of stuff, or have you always wanted to be in this genre? When did you get started? How did you get started? Tell us that story.
So I never wanted to be an auditor. I had I just wasn't tuned into it. I knew a little bit about my rights, but I knew enough to film the police. And I had Chief Lawless just pull me over one day and decide to conduct an illegal search and seizure. And I filmed the whole thing, and it's on Wildman Audits. And ever since then, it's just been a back and forth thing. And now, there's been 28 different charges that he's tried against me. And I've gotten every single one of them dismissed. And I currently have a lawsuit against them, a 1983 lawsuit for violating my Fourth Amendment right. That's currently in federal court, and it's pending a motion for summary judgment. So there will be a big decision made in that case here very soon. But basically, I learned all of this in a very short amount of time because of survival, to be honest. I didn't have the money for an attorney, and they kept appointing me these attorneys that were trying to railroad me. And I'm a very intuitive kind of person who is able to see through the bullshit. And I was able to clearly recognize that these attorneys weren't representing my best interests. And before we ever got to a trial, I was able to set things straight and get the cases dismissed and fire the attorneys and prevent myself from getting railroaded before it ever got there.
Oh, say it ain't so. Public defenders are, they're on your side, man. They don't work for the courts.
I learned the real meaning of the word attorney, and it comes from the French Anglo-Saxon word "attorn," which means to turn over. And so attorneys turn you over to the jurisdiction and power of the courts.
Oh my Lord! The actual position that's exactly what they do. Oh my! I did not know that. That's okay. So I know these public pretenders they're most of them are worthless. I mean, every once in a while you'll get one that'll try to do the right thing, but I think they might get intimidated by the court too. So, anyway, here we go.
Already decided that we find it intolerable that one constitutional right should have to be surrendered in order to assert another. Therefore, I can assert both my constitutional right to self-representation and have appointed counsel at the same time and exercise those rights concurrently. And I choose to do so in this case. Also, I want it on the record that I'm not waiving my right to speedy trial, and nor does
stamped.
Okay, I don't waive my right to speedy trial.
I said it's not. Right here, time not waived, already have it.
Okay, and
So yet again, a judge interrupting you while you're speaking, kind of typical, but she turns out to be fair. I don't know. I mean, she had to do it, So.
This is Judge Peters of Circleville, and I want to say that when her and I first started out, I had a lot of respect for her. And then in the second case that I had through her court, it was a battle royale and it got really bloody. And we both drew blood on each other, so to speak. You know, I was about to put her in front of the disciplinary council, and there was a lot that happened. And ever since that case where it got really nasty, she's had a level of respect for me, and she's dared not to tread those waters again. So we have a mutual respect for each other that's come out of a lot of hard-earned battles.
That's awesome, and a lot more people need to do what you're doing, and not be afraid to go after these public officials in a lawful way. So bloody metaphorically.
Absolutely, yes, metaphorically.
Yeah, so you've earned her respect for that. I think sometimes if you stand up and fight for your rights, you're going to earn respect from these people. And so more people need to do this. I know it's scary, but more people need to do it.
Any co-counsel on this case does not have my permission to change that decision.
Okay.
They do not.
Now that right there is huge. You've got it on the record in the courtroom. You know that your defense attorney that's assigned to you cannot change what you want and what you filed. That's huge too.
One thing I want to say is, you know, when you guys, and if you guys have an arraignment, that's a perfect time to set some fundamental guidelines to the whole case that are going to proceed throughout the whole case. Now, you can't speak about the facts of the case, like whether it actually happened or not, or what the evidence. Arraignment is a perfect time to set some guidelines as far as like, hey, I'm going to retain these rights, and these rights are never going to be waived in this case. And if anyone tries to waive these rights in this case, it's null and void from the origination of it, because, you know, I'm saying here and now that I don't consent to that.
And it's on the record. I like it.
Exactly.
Yep. I like it, and that's good information for everyone in the community to be sure and do that in an arraignment right off the bat. Put it on the record. Here we go.
Not have my consent to file any motions against that or to change that in this case, because I'm still representing myself in this case,
Okay.
and they would be standby counsel.
Okay. I have your not guilty plea entered. Now, as far as your request for a probable cause hearing.
Now, you see this guy back here in the audience? This big guy standing up there. What was his name again?
His name is Mr. Brewster, and he is the assistant city attorney. And this is my first time ever having a case where he's stepped in on it. But his boss has been my attorney before, and her name is Miss Kendra Kinney. And if you listen, he talks about Miss Kinney having a conflict of interest. And the conflict of interest is the fact that she's been my attorney. She was a public defender when me and Miss Kinney and the judge here all got into it really bad during one of my cases. And so ever since then,
You kind of froze up on us there, but and if you don't come back, I mean, you're really frozen, so we might have lost you. If that's the case, just drop out and then come back in, and I'll bring you back up. So I'll play a little bit more of this. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go all the way up here, and if you guys want to see what's in between, then you'll be able to just go to his channel and watch what happens in between all of that. Okay, but I just kind of want to get to the meat and potatoes, almost to the conclusion, because this is pretty cut and dry here. So let me go ahead and hit play.
That needs not to be dealt with. I think that him and I need to exchange contacts and go talk about this right now, where I can show him the videos and we can work on getting the criminal complaint written up.
I can't.
Okay, and he did drop out. Hopefully he comes back in here. But I do want to play this part. This is this is just, it's awesome.
Let him do that because he's here on
new facts. Is this something that happened recently?
Okay, so what I did was I just skipped ahead. I just wanted to get right to the conclusion here because I think it's kind of cut and dry. You agree with that? That way everybody can go see what happened in the middle of this.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so here we are.
Is this a refiling of something?
No, it's not a refiling. Here's what the allegations are, just an FYI. The allegation is that on July 22nd of 2024, and again, I don't really want any arguments, I'm just like, just give me this. Cody Henderson used the Village of New Holland sewer system, knowingly obtained or exerted control without consent. Now, it's alleged that he used the sewage system and is not paying a water or sewer bill. More likely
Sounds
than.
like a civil matter to me, Your Honor.
What do you guys think? Is that a crime or is it a civil matter? Because you just said it sounds like a civil matter. What do you guys think in chat? Using the sewer system and the water system and not paying for it.
An interesting question would be like, who is the victim in this? Is the village the victim, of theft in that sense, or is it more of a civil thing? That is an interesting question.
It is. And I think they're going to figure out something here real quick.
I agree.
Can I just ask, can it be dismissed with prejudice today?
Absolutely.
I agree.
Because that is not something to file a criminal charge on.
Okay.
I agree 100%, Your Honor.
Are you sure?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
If
So
there's a
here's,
dispute over sewage and sewage use, the Department of Sewage can sue, go proper zoning, whatever procedures the village has. It doesn't need to be filed as a criminal.
And technically, I don't think a police officer has jurisdiction over zoning matters. That's the zoning board and the zoning officer's duties and jobs. And I mean, it's kind of wild that the police officers are filing criminal charges against me for zoning issues. That's a civil matter.
civil issue. Okay. So that's going to be dismissed, no court costs, and we are done.
Okay.
That was freaking awesome. That was just awesome. That never happens. That never happens.
And this was during an arraignment, which I personally have never seen a case get dismissed with prejudice during an arraignment. I didn't even know that was possible.
It was brilliant, though. I mean, it's like, and this guy, why is he the assistant and not the city prosecutor? Because it seems like he understands law better than his boss did. Because the boss went ahead with charges, right?
Well, one of the things that I brought up was that probable cause was never heard in this case, and so I don't think that his boss necessarily filed the charges. I think here in Ohio, I think the officers themselves can file the charges direct with the court, and I think in this case, Lawless filed the charges directly with the court.
But doesn't there have to be a prosecutor on it?
Well, yes, but this was the first hearing, so this was kind of like when the prosecutors first heard about it. In a sense, they were just now hearing about it, which I think it's odd that the prosecutors don't have to review the case for probable cause before it enters the court, because in my eyes,
before the arraignment even.
Yeah, why am I in court without there being probable cause proven? Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. So, guys, if you want to see what happened in the middle, it was also pretty interesting, but I just wanted to get to a good end here for us. And I want you to go to his channel and watch his work, because I think it's important that you do that. And be sure and subscribe. But definitely watch videos, because it doesn't matter if I send you over there to just subscribe and you don't watch any videos and hit a like button or leave a comment. Those subscriptions go away. YouTube takes them back. So be sure and watch his body of work like we're doing here today. All right. Now I've got another one here. And before we play this one, I think this is it's a relatively popular one here. Conspiracy Against Constitutional Rights, Episode 2. Now, I don't have the Episode 1. I couldn't find it. But the Episode 2, I think, is probably just fine, isn't it? Because you kind of go over what happened in Episode 1.
Yeah, so with the the Conspiracy Against Rights series, what I wanted to do is lay out my videos in chronological order. And so those are older videos because I haven't got caught up with more recent videos in the series. But from episode 1 to episode 2 to episode 3, it all goes in a chronological order. So anyone who wants to follow the story from how it started and how it's going. And at the beginning of them, I usually give a recap of what happened in the previous episode.
Right. So let's start at episode 2, so that way people will go back and watch episode 1 and then continue on to episode 3 as well. There's a method to my madness here. But I do want to see what the chat is talking about. I want to see what the chat is talking about here.
Yeah, and I want to invite anyone to ask any questions. You know, I'm a very curious person myself, and I think we learn from asking each other questions and just kind of philosophizing about things and sharing our thoughts.
Yeah, definitely ask questions, guys. And we'll go over them as you ask them too. We'll stop what we're doing and answer those questions. So be sure and ask some if you have any. I think we're being pretty thorough, but somebody's got to have some questions. So I do want to recognize some more people in the chat. Cherokee Girl, good to see you. You're new to my chat. I don't. Of course, you might have been in here before, and I just missed you. I miss a lot of things in the chat. Who else is in here that I haven't shouted out yet? I like to shout out people. Lenny Malley, good to see you. This man is a brother that is also a Montanan. That's where I'm from, Missoula, Montana, and so we kind of make a connection here. Montana guys, you know, we believe in freedom. Let's see, United Army. I like that.
Absolutely.
Gloria Ad says, "I'm still here, just cooking." There's every once in a while she says stuff in the chat. You're giving Al Gore his rhythm, so we like that.
Thank you for tuning in even while you're cooking. I appreciate that.
Sin City Giggles. Let's see what this person is saying. I'm listening. Just hit the like button as I walked in the room. Okay, beautiful. All right, let's start this one here. And again, love the intro.
I love you, Bobby.
What's that soul?
Wildman Audits, exposing corruption, standing for our rights. Conspiracy Against Constitutional Rights, Episode 2. A series where I expose multiple police departments, sheriff offices, deputies, courts, and judges for conspiring against my constitutional rights.
Now, I got to say something about USC 18, Title 18, subsection 241. Conspiracy to violate rights under color of law. This is happening all over the country every day against people in this community. I mean, we're seeing it time after time after time. And we keep going, and our people keep going to the DOJ. You know, first they go to they go through all the steps. They go to where the rights were violated, that police department. Then they go to the sheriff's office. Then they go to the state police and file complaints, charges. They file charges. Okay, we've even gone as far as up to the FBI to file charges. Nothing happens. The DOJ never get any answers. This is these are criminal acts. And depending on how egregious, these criminal acts, 241 and 242, can include up to and including, if they're found guilty, up to and including the death penalty. And yet they're not being charged. These government, especially government officials, they're not being charged ever. How do you think we can fix that, Wildman?
You know, that's a good question, and it seems to be this from top down kind of systemic corruption, where there's a code of silence. You know, where if you're a government official, you're required to remain silent about crimes that other government officials commit. Where they're covering each other's tracks and refusing to file charges on this. And I think the solution to it is simple. I think we take the power out of prosecutors' hands and we put it in the grand jury's hands, and we allow individuals like me and like you and like everyone else in this chat to file these charges ourselves in a grand jury. Put me in front of a grand jury and I'll bring the evidence and I'll prove it to the grand jury that these people need to be indicted. And then from there, it's not in the government's hands anymore. It's in the power of we, the people. And we get to decide by jury powers and by the powers that's within the law, whether they meet the standards that are written in law or whether they violated the law. And it should be up to, us as the people ultimately.
So how do you think? How do you propose that we get that done, though, where we can get a grand jury, get these charges in front of a grand jury ourselves? Do we have to go through legislation, get laws passed, or because the courts aren't going to do that? They're just not.
Right. I think it would have to be by petition and amending laws, signing petitions and voting for the legislative process to amend laws to allow a procedure that allows, so currently I can file what's called like a writ of mandamus, and I can file it what's called like state ex rel, and that means that I am the relator. And so what that means is that I'm not the one who is technically going against the other party. The state is the one who's going against the other party, but I'm representing the state as pro se, as their attorney, relating this information to the state through this case by filing this writ of mandamus against such and such. And so I would request that the courts, or I would suggest that we file petitions to force or require that it be put on the ballot, that we have laws structured that allows us to state ex rel, or basically even on the federal government, stand for the federal government and file these charges ourselves. And, of course, we would have the burden of proof. We would have to represent the case. We would have to prosecute it. But there's nothing in my mind that should keep us from doing so when the prosecutors have a conflict of interest, because, they're all paid by the same fund. So the prosecutors don't want to prosecute their buddies, right. and so we, the people, have to be the ones to somehow do that. And I think that, petitioning and voting through the legislative process may be the best way to go.
Well said, brother. And our only recourse right now, when we have these rights violations on the criminal side, is like SC Phoenix Volunteer ADA Title II Auditor says, 42 U.S. Section 1983 civil lawsuits. So that's all we can do right now is file these lawsuits and hit them where the wallet is. And eventually, when the citizens, because they're not going to pay for it, our taxpayers are going to pay for it. We, the people, are going to pay for it. And when it hits we, the people's wallet hard enough, where our taxes continue to go up, and we find out why they're going up, that's when they're going to sign a petition.
I've got something interesting to note on that, is that the local city here, I actually have a $60,000 lawsuit right now for failure to produce public records. And all of a sudden this year, everybody's property tax went up 50%.
Yeah. And so maybe publish the reason why it's gone up 50% is probably because of what you're doing. part
Well,
of it.
and that's what I'm going to get to exposing. But something that I commented was on the local group was that we need to petition and we need to change this. And there was 50 people that liked it. So there's already a large amount of people in the community that agree that our government, our local government, needs reform and it needs change because they're going too far with their power. They're charging us too much in the taxes. This is getting ridiculous.
I agree. Well said too. All right, here we go.
Previous episode, we saw Chief Lawless and Officer Page of New Holland Police Department escalate a simple traffic stop into an unlawful arrest.
Here, tell me what the fuck this shit is. I'll have to break his fucking leg and get him in the car.
Today we have a few videos of Chief Lawless and Officer Pate, New Holland PD, pulling up to my house and walking around my property shortly after the illegal search and seizure. They conspired to intimidate me by making constant appearances at my property while I was awaiting the court date. Then, on my court date, I noticed Chief Lawless making rounds around my block. Well, I'm on my way to court here in New Holland. Just walking there and waiting at the end of my road was the officer. It's like I can't even walk to court without being harassed. And when he sees me, he pulls down my street. I've got a short video of him passing by. So I'm going to keep my video on me while I'm walking down. I actually see him right here. Starting to feel nervous because I see him standing there waiting. I transferred the case to Circleville Municipal Court. I came back a few days later and served Chief Lawless with public record requests. He then told me he had better things to do and removed me from the public building during open hours. I'll find a different.
Cody,
Hey,
you can't just come in here and go through stuff.
it's sitting on the desk. It's a public building. I didn't know that. There's no sign that says I can't use a pen.
So respectful. Hey, you. You can't come in here and just start touching stuff and grabbing things.
I'm in a public building. How dare I grab a pen? I mean, gosh, that's such a crime there.
It's just crazy. It's nuts. And I'm going to get heated here in a minute because I've already seen this one. So here we go.
Well, you can ask.
No one was around.
What are you still doing in here?
I'm filing this paperwork and signing it. I'm reading it out loud. I'm about to find somebody to file it with.
There's no one here now.
All right, there's me signing.
See, I caught it right then. There's no one here now. Public records request, correct me if I'm wrong, but they can be submitted to even the janitor that works there. And then they can get it to the people that need to get it to. He's there. When he says there ain't nobody here, he's there.
Yeah, he's right here and he can take it. And ultimately it's for his department. And so technically he's the custodian of the records that I'm requesting. So there's no one better to give it to than him.
Yeah, it's going to go to him anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's denying me, the public records basically.
Yep.
To take it and go. Everyone is gone for the day. Well, you can bring it back in on Monday, and you can file it with one of the ladies here in the office, and they'll make sure that I get it. And as long
I like how you're just continuing to, sign things and date it.
as I'm allowed to give it to you, I'll get it for you. Okay?
All right, I'm just going ahead and filling out this paperwork real quick.
Terry, you can fill it out at home.
Well, I need to like go ahead and turn it in and stuff and make sure
There's no one here for you to turn it into.
Notice how multiple times he says there's no one here to turn it into while he's here. There's nothing on the radio that's pertaining to him. That's all for other people. And he's sitting here just declining my usage of rights.
All right, so there's still another half hour before they even technically are supposed to close down, right?
Exactly. It's 30 minutes before they're supposed to close. They're supposed to be open. It's a public building. They don't have any signs on the door. It's not a holiday, and so it's just unprofessional. If no one else is there, I mean, at the very least, he should be there. And one of the funny things is, after this video, I stood around to see what he was going to do, and he left for 5 minutes and came right back.
Yeah, so he pretended like he was closing everything down, and then he left for 5 minutes and came back and reopened, right? But you weren't allowed in. You were thrown out of there. So, guys, if you want to see the rest of this one, go to his channel and watch it. It's pretty egregious what this chief does. All right, let's get the next one loaded up here. And the last one that I'm going to share, I haven't even watched, so I wanted to be surprised. I definitely
exciting.
Yeah. So, but this is one that you did in vertical here.
So this one's technically episode 1. It's the same video from episode 1. This is the video that started Wildman Audits.
Okay. And where should I start at this one? Should I start from the very beginning or?
Yeah, I would start at the beginning. That's the most exciting part. The first 10, 15 minutes were the most exciting.
All right. And I'm going to say this, don't take offense, Wildman. This is a good looking kid. And I can say that because I'm old. So here we go.
Thank you so much.
Weights and stuff like that. I think I was guiding later. Right. But I would just take it all and then go from there.
Oh, how did that happen? Did my tremors cause that? It just jumped.
My safety, can you really want it down, please?
I don't feel safe doing that.
Can you really want it down, please?
I just told you I don't feel safe doing that.
Step out the car.
Hey, sir, please don't open my door.
I asked you to really want it down for my safety, so can you really want? So can you step out?
Should have locked the door for your safety. Just saying. All right, here we
go. Cody, come on out. Tags are expired. We've asked you, told you about this more than once.
You guys had no reason to pull me over here.
Yeah, your tags are expired.
You had no way to see that. You're facing that way.
Legally drive.
You're facing that way. Your car was facing that way.
Question: are your tags still expired, or did you get that?
No, I got my tags taken care of. And this was a whole thing because he had been circling around my property, and he had already identified my car. He had identified me. They pre-planned this whole search here, and you can tell by how quickly they move into searching my vehicle and removing me from the vehicle that it was pre-planned.
Okay. Oh, I do want to recognize Cherokee Girl, United States Marine Corps from 76 to 78. Yeah, I went in from 79. I went in 79, so I was right behind you, sister. And do appreciate your service.
Thank you for your service.
Go over and sit down on the sidewalk.
Your car was facing that way.
We're not arguing out here. Go over and sit down on the sidewalk.
I'm going to turn off my vehicle. And I'm going to lock up my doors, just as I'm allowed to do. Whoa, 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 whoa. Leave your hands off me. Leave your hands off me. Leave your hands off me. Leave your hands off me, bro. I'm not.
Constructive criticism there from Tennessee Transparency.
I learned my lesson. I really did. Yeah, I have been riding legal for the last year and a half. This was 2 years ago, and yeah, I didn't expect it because I live in a small village, and yeah. But I learned my lesson.
And honestly, I don't think it's constitutional to have make us register our vehicles and have driver's licenses. But that fight is just too big to try to fight yet. And so I recommend everybody make sure that you're getting your vehicle registered. Pay that tax on it every year. So you're renting your vehicle. Just know that.
And one thing I want to bring awareness to is the deeper legal analysis of what's going on in this video, because this is the video that I'm currently fighting a $2.3 million 1983 lawsuit against. And so the problem in this video, I'm not arguing the fact that they didn't have the right to pull me over. What I'm arguing is that they didn't have the right to impound the vehicle to begin with. And the reason that I say that is because I was parked on private property, and they never asked the property owner if the vehicle had a problem being there. And I'll actually explain the foundation. So the reason that
Fourth Amendment right. Clear Fourth Amendment right. They stole your property.
Yeah, the only reason that cops can impound vehicles is what's called community caretaking functions. And a community caretaking function means like them getting a vehicle out of the way or out of the side of the road or somewhere where it could be a public hindrance. But where my car was parked, it was not a public hindrance. It was in a parking space at a business that I go to every day, that it's allowed to be there, And furthermore, there was an alternative to the impoundment. They could have allowed me to get on my cell phone and get on the BMV website and renew my registration, and it would have only taken 5 minutes. So they have no valid argument for the fact that they needed to impound it. And the only reason that they're allowed to do an inventory search, which they claim that they needed to do, is if they have a valid reason to impound. And so I clearly laid this out in my lawsuit, and yeah, I just wanted people to understand some of the further legal analysis. And if you're ever pulled over in a situation where you feel like your rights are being violated, pull over on private property in a parking space, and they'll have less of a chance to be able to impound your vehicle and further search it as well. So that's my piece of advice to anyone out there.
And yet they still do it all the time. I've seen time after time after time videos where they're towing vehicles off a private lot and doing an inventory too. So I contend it's a definite Fourth Amendment violation. They're stealing your property too. So, and then you got to pay to get it out. I think they've got contracts with these towing companies. I don't know, but
yeah, I believe they do. I think you're right.
Yep, and I think there's potential little kickbacks. It's just my opinion, but I'm right.
Yeah, absolutely. And oftentimes when they get back to the tow company, they'll use a Slim Jim to break into the car to further search it or take the tires off, and I mean, they just will destroy your vehicle if they get a chance.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of that too. Here we go.
I'm not a criminal. I didn't break any crime.
Come over here. You're not gonna close the door.
Dude, I'm closing the door.
Come on.
No, this is no.
Come on. You're gonna go to jail for obstruction.
Cody, listen to me for a minute.
What?
We have to do a vehicle inventory because we're going to impound it this time. This is the second time we've told you.
You had no reason to pull up behind me right there. I wasn't speeding. I was not speeding, and I didn't have anything going on.
Your tags are expired. You are
I'm not speeding.
allowed to drive this vehicle.
You're not allowed to use previous. You're not allowed to use previous infractions to pull me over.
Okay, so I do want to clarify something for Tennessee Transparency. I mentioned earlier it's not really a channel where he wants subs. That's wrong. He's got an issue going on, and once he gets it fixed, I'll make that announcement and really try to promote your channel, brother. Okay, so just let me know once you get it fixed. Little housekeeping there.
over at a
It's
later
not
point in
previous.
time.
They're expired.
You were facing that way.
What
You were
does
facing the opposite way. You
That
weren't even
mean I
looking at
can't
me.
Look in my rearview
No,
mirror and see
that
the
means
plate?
that means that you're profiling my car. You can't. There's no way you can
you
read
guys
the
don't
date.
look on
There's
it.
no way you can read the date on that.
Do you think that's true? What Lenny's saying there? Police unions have contracts with all tow truck companies.
It would not surprise me. I've been learning more about police unions, and I think police unions need to be abolished because what it does is it creates an inner sense of allegiance between these police officers where they are pledge their allegiance to each other and to the police union instead of pledging their allegiance to the Constitution and to the people. But I do think that makes sense that these fraternal orders of the police would have certain contracts with their buddies,
And I think they limit it to certain tow truck companies that are willing to, give them a little in return. That, I don't know that that's happening, but man, it's sure suspicious. Suspicion's not a crime, but I would like to figure out a way to find out the truth and find evidence of it and catch them doing that. I'd love to catch them doing that. Here's a gentleman that I'm going to be featuring on my channel soon. In fact, he sent me a lot of videos. This is one of the nicest guys when he's out there cop watching and things like that. He does a lot of that. And he's just so nice. And he's in Denver. The only other, and he's just a good person. So just wanted to point that out.
Welcome, Mile High. Nice to meet you.
Tag.
We didn't run the date on the tag. We ran the tag.
No, you're not going to physically.
Really?
You're not going to physically look. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing?
And I noticed something on the Chiefs outfit there. 1776. Wow. I mean, just egregious.
And why are you physically? I did not do anything illegal. Don't touch my phone. Don't touch my phone.
If you don't,
I don't have to cooperate with unlawful orders. You're giving me unlawful orders. I don't have to have a seat.
You're about to go.
I don't have to have a seat.
You're about to go to jail. Seriously. Now I ain't playing.
Listen, you pulled me out of my car for no reason. You pulled me out of my car for no reason.
Vehicle inventory.
No, you do not.
Your vehicle because we are towing it.
No. You're not towing my car. You're not towing my car.
This is the second
You're not towing my car.
that we have warned you about this.
You're not towing my car.
Yes, we are. And if you give us any problems, I'm just going to take you to jail. It's that simple.
I'm not doing anything illegal.
Sit down on the concrete.
I don't have to sit down, sir. I don't have to sit down.
You need to go sit down on the curb, doggy. That's how they treat us. 1776. Look at that.
Yeah, he's not even in police uniform. He's in a constitutional hoodie as he's violating my constitutional rights. And his last name is Lawless, Lawless.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any more ironic than this.
Yeah, you can't make this shit up. All right, here we go.
I do not have to sit down. I'm a free
Us
citizen.
all feel a lot more comfortable.
It wouldn't make. I don't feel safe with that. So my safety is important too. I don't feel safe with your officer here laying hands on me when I've been nothing but cool, pulling me out of my car for no reason.
Multiple times what to do.
Yeah, I don't have to roll my window down. That legally, I don't have to roll my window all the way down.
Keep arguing with me.
I don't have to roll my window down.
Take you to jail, and that's the end of the story. Okay.
I'm not going to accept unlawful threats. I'm allowed to speak my rights and I have a First Amendment. I have a First Amendment right to speak, and you're not allowed to take me to jail just because I exercise my First Amendment right. That is not lawful. That is not legal. I have not violated. You are harassing me, and this is entrapment. This is entrapment. This is entrapment. You're now going. I do not consent to searches. I do not consent to searches. No, I do not consent to searches.
I'm going to ask you one more time to step back on the sidewalk.
I do not consent to search and seizure.
Step back on the sidewalk, please. Step back on the sidewalk.
Leave your hands off of me. I'm not answering any questions.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and put your hand up.
No, sir. No, sir. What am I being detained for? What am I being detained for?
And handcuffed.
Why?
Because you are not cooperating.
I don't have to cooperate with.
Because you're not doing what we tell you to do when we tell you to do it. Good Lord.
Yeah, it seems like a retaliatory arrest for me exercising my rights is what it seems like.
Yep. And did you make it clear to them? Because I haven't seen this whole video. Did you make it clear to them that you were on private property?
I mean, I didn't say it because it seemed so fundamental that they couldn't ignore it. I mean, they had to pull into the parking lot of the Dollar General. You know,
Right.
it was.
So they clearly knew and understood they were on private property.
And yes, and also I looked at their policies for community caretaking functions, and they had nothing about an impoundment policy. So you know, they had no specific policy requiring them to impound the vehicle.
They just wanted to.
Yeah, it was
because
we want to. And I have dreadlocks, and they think I have drugs on me. Is what this whole thing is about, and you'll see that in a moment.
Yeah,
it's
I did see
interesting.
that part. Yeah, it is. Here we go.
With you illegally searching and seizing my car. You were searching and seizing my car. That's a Fourth Amendment right. I do not consent to handcuffs. I do not consent to searches.
Where did you get your law degree?
I don't have to have a law degree. I have rights. I have rights. And you should know that 1776.
You would be the first to realize that I know those rights.
Yeah, I have a Fourth Amendment right to
it's taken me to put you in handcuffs. Anybody else would have done it by now. I'm trying.
That's perfect. That's perfect. You know that I know those rights. Qualified immunity disappears right then and there.
That's what I just argued in federal court. Exactly. I used his own words right there that he knew all of the rights and he violated my rights anyways. And he made fun of me for exercising my rights by saying, "Where did you get your law degree?" Which demonstrates malice. The fact that he was angry about me exercising my rights.
Yep. Beautiful. What an idiot. The guy's an idiot.
And you see how he points that thing in my face too. He points it all in my face.
That's a threat. I mean, he's using it's an intimidation tactic too. And it's like, I thought he was actually going to hit you with the thing when he brought it out. I really did. I thought he was going to. I mean, he got really close. He got right up in your face too with it.
Yeah, and they don't have body cameras on, by the way. And I want everyone to realize that these guys are doing all of this with no body cameras on at all.
So you're the only camera there. If you weren't,
I'm the only. Until 15 minutes later, when the sheriffs arrive on scene, which is later on in the video, I'm the only camera on scene.
Wow! And if you wouldn't have been recording, we wouldn't have heard that whole conversation where he says, "I know all of your rights."
I would have spent time in jail for resisting arrest and obstruction, and I would have never had a lawsuit if I wouldn't have recorded. So everyone, please record the cops. Record them every time, no matter what, even if it's a minor traffic infraction.
Yep. And I think anytime you're dealing with any government official, record it.
I would like to add, even when you're speaking to your own attorney, record your own attorney as well, because your attorney will try to railroad you in a heartbeat.
Yep, I agree.
Give you every opportunity to just cooperate with us.
Listen, I'm being cool, dude.
No, you're not. You're arguing, everything else. You know your tags are expired.
Dude.
We've already stopped you and wrote you a ticket once and didn't impound your car.
Bro,
we gave you another opportunity, and here you are.
You were harassing me before that. Going up and down my street, looking at my tags.
This is not the
You were going up and down my street, looking at my tags, bro.
This is not the first time that I've seen you driving since we wrote you the ticket for your tags.
Bro,
so you got another break.
I still have the right to travel. I stuff done, bro. You got to understand.
Your motorcycle's legal.
Tennessee Transparency. It's Ohio, I believe, right? New Holland, Ohio.
Yes, sir. I'm in Ohio. Yep, that's right.
Why didn't you write that?
Because I had to pick stuff up from Home Depot, man. Look, there's no legal stuff in my car, bro.
I believe you. And now you're trying to be cool. Why didn't you just start off that way? We could have said, hey, man, you know you are not allowed to have that car on this road.
Listen.
Instead of arguing with us. And we could have probably worked something out. Listen. Because of the way you treated us, we're not going to work anything out.
Listen, you pulled me out of my car. I'm illegally searching and seizing me, and this guy's grabbing all over me.
I just asked you to follow directions. That's all.
Listen, I don't have to follow.
Yeah, Lenny, I don't think they're claiming ignorance of the law. In fact, they said he said, I know all of your rights. Um, so there's absolutely no excuse. There's no ignorance though either. As
They're
far as I
only the argument they're trying in court is they're saying that my rights weren't violated, so qualified immunity protects them if my rights weren't violated. And I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. Do you think this is a violation of the Fourth Amendment? I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah, I do too. Here we go.
Follow every direction,
Okay.
man.
Well, we asked you for our safety to stay on the sidewalk, and you want to keep getting off.
Officer safety.
66 radio. Can you start me at 31 to Dollar General, please?
What you guys have been doing, man?
Towing your car.
Tow it. Why?
Because it's expired since June.
So what, man?
45 days by state law, you can only have that we have to tow this car.
Well, then tow it.
That's what we're doing. So we're gonna
let go. No, bro.
you're just gonna go back to the back of my car.
Bro, no. Listen.
Walk.
Listen.
Walk.
Bro, this is unlawful detainment. Unlawful detainment. They are detaining me. What is your?
You get over here and tell me what the fuck this shit is.
Well, I don't know if he has a.
Wow, he is so professional. See, they're so used to not having body cams that they just do whatever they say, whatever they want, and be as unprofessional as they want because they don't realize that these sheriff's deputies have cameras on them, do they?
That's very clear in this video that he's completely unaware, and there's multiple things to point out. Is one of the things that is he mentions things about my alleged CBD company, which means that he questioned me. And then the officer later asked him if he's read me my Miranda rights, and he says no, which means that he arrested me and interrogated me without reading me Miranda rights, which is a violation of my rights.
And did he turn off your camera? Is that why
Yeah.
we didn't hear that part of the conversation?
Yes, they took my camera from me and turned it off as well.
Yeah, see, that's a violation too. They can't be turning off your camera.
Absolutely, especially when they didn't have the reason to arrest to begin with,
Yep. Well, either way. And they didn't take your camera either, did they? They didn't take your cell phone for evidence, did they? Did I lose you? Did you lose me?
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I lost you for a sec.
Okay. Oh, geez, what was my question here? It was pretty important too. Guys, remind me what my question was. Oh man, brain freeze. Did you hear my question, or maybe not?
No, I blanked out the whole question. I apologize. I didn't hear any of it.
Well, let's do a test then. Is my chat actually listening to me?
We need the
Maybe
chat
I
to
didn't
recall the
finish my
last question.
Yeah, what was my last question, guys? Come on. Maybe I didn't finish the question.
This is a pop quiz. He's tested you on.
Did they take your phone for evidence?
They actually did not take my phone for evidence. Thankfully, they weren't that
good.
smart.
Well, they can't. It's against federal law. Were you aware of that?
No, I have had my camera taken for evidence before.
Yeah.
Though.
No, your press.
Mm-hmm.
Your press.
Yep.
They cannot take your phone as evidence.
Really?
I'm trying to. What is that law, guys? I know
If
it's
anybody
a federal
has
law.
the case law, put it, or the federal law or the case law, put it in the comments because that would be great.
Yep, and I've said it before. It's 2000 AA, but I'm trying to figure out, was it USC? What was it? So our guy 936 says it's Pullman versus Fort Bend. And I know there's a federal law, especially, and it's just for people with press that are press, which a camera that you disseminate to the public, you are press. So that law is a federal law specifically for people with press. You cannot take their equipment, basically.
Right.
Because it stops them from being able to publish, and you can't do that.
Yes. And in this case, what's interesting is they get out this tote, and I want to explain to people that I sold CBD, and there's legal hemp medicine that's in this tote, and this tote had a padlock on it before they busted it open. So not only did they not have the right to impound the vehicle, not have the right to inventory the vehicle, even if they had the right to do that, they didn't have the right to bust open a locked container to be able to search it without a search warrant.
And they did before the sheriff's deputies showed up there, right?
Exactly. And they patted each other on the back as if they had had some kind of drug bust.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, because, all right, I'll just play the video here. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
See, it don't smell like
Yeah,
straight
don't smell
marijuana.
marijuana.
I'm good with it. What the fuck is this? It ain't cold or nothing.
Yeah.
It's like CBD or something.
Let's see how it's going to ziplock in it. Let me take a couple pictures and send it to Harger.
Nothing.
Uh-oh, there might be a love connection going on here. Cherokee girl. All right, I'll quit teasing you guys. Here we go.
How's it going?
So I think one of your subscribers are in the chat. He said, I remember when this happened. Okay.
Welcome, our guy. Thank you for being a part of my channel for a long time. It was a rough start when I first got started. I was really in a mode of desperation as I had so many charges stacked up against me, and they were continuing to harass me. But thanks to all my viewers and subscribers, and thanks to the hard work and studying the law, I've been able to get all this taken care of. So thanks for being there since the beginning.
I mean, I can't smell any marijuana. If you open them bags, they smell like something else.
I can't smell any marijuana.
I quoted that in the lawsuit too, because it's the mythical line you never heard a cop say. Normally they say everything smells like marijuana, but he says this, that I can't smell any marijuana. This don't smell like marijuana at all.
And I contend, again, he didn't realize he was on camera. Otherwise, I mean, of course, they're going to charge you with marijuana. He would have if he. But I think he might have realized that these sheriff's deputies had cameras on, as he's saying. This don't even smell like marijuana. So, otherwise, he'd have probably charged you. It's just my opinion, but I'm right. This guy likes to charge you for everything and anything.
That's true.
Here we go.
Just get trailer? We don't have one in this car. We have one in the car.
What's that say on the package?
It says hemp on it.
CBD.
Yeah.
But I mean, having this much, I mean, he straight up tells us he sells them. The license check having 500.
So they're trying to figure out whether or not you have a license. Do you even have to have a license?
No, you don't have to have a license to like sell or retail hemp CBD products, and they don't even know the law, and they have no clue what they're even looking at or what they're talking about.
That figures. Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Oh, you have to have a license to grow it and process it. But
Do you have? Is that true? You have to have a license to grow it and process it.
Yes. For growing and processing, there is a license, but all I was doing was retailing, buying and reselling. So,
Right.
there's no license for that. And one of their arguments is the amounts that I had, but there's no law that says that there's any legal amount of hemp that you can or cannot have. I mean, I could have a literal metric ton of this stuff, and it wouldn't be illegal.
Right. Because it's not marijuana anyway.
Right.
It has
Absolutely.
some of the properties, but it's not marijuana.
And another one of my claims in the lawsuit is that they were not properly trained to tell the difference between hemp and marijuana, which is evidently clear in this video, and that's one of the reasons that my rights were violated and that they took my property.
Yep, I agree. And yeah, they broke into your property too. Did they keep it as evidence?
Yeah, they kept it for 8 months and they never sent it off for testing or did anything with it. And I had to file a motion to return seized property, in which I outlined the way that they violated my constitutional rights. And that was the first motion I ever filed in my life. And Judge Peters, who we just saw in I think the last video, she was the one who came through and she actually approved that motion, required him to give it back.
Some of these judges can do the right things some of the times, I guess. So, and that's good to see. It's refreshing when we see them make the right decisions on things. So I think that's important.
Hey, one thing real quick. I just got notice from the cafe I'm in that they're about to close in 3 minutes. So
Okay.
I might have to jump off here, but hopefully.
Yeah. No, let's wrap this up, guys. If you want to go see this false arrest, because that's where all this stems from, illegal search and seizure, CBD, Fourth Amendment rights violation. This is where he's got a huge lawsuit against him going on right now. Go to his channel and watch the rest of this. And we're at the 9 minute and 6 second mark, so you guys can start from there. And it's about 2 hours anyway, pretty close to it. So I loved having you on the panel. Loved having you as a guest on this show. And you are invited back anytime. So if you reach out to me, we'll share your work again. I'd love to get the follow up from this lawsuit as well.
I will have a lot of big decisions coming through the courts in the next 2 to 3 months, and I look forward to informing you all on that. And I just want to thank you so much for inviting me on for the podcast, and I look forward to it in the future. And it's been a plum-pleasing pleasure and a privilege to be on here and to connect with all your wonderful subscribers. And I'm going to also send some of my subscribers your way. Because if you're able to get some of this video to me, I can upload it on my channel and help.
You're welcome to share. You're welcome to share this video to your people anytime, in all of it, in any one of my videos. Everybody has permission to share my stuff. Just give me credit when you do it. That's all I ask.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, it was wonderful having you on. Great minds think alike too. I think there was a certain thing that we talked about because I asked you what your label was, and I think you said investigative journalist mainly, and you said constitutional rights activist, and I said, well, what do you think about a constitutional rights advocate? And I think you said that sounds even better. So trying to get away from the activism stuff because of negative connotations with it, but and I appreciate that. So guys, thanks for coming in today. All of my supporters, my moderators. Moderators, don't forget to put your own PayPal or pay links into the chat for people. I think my moderators are good enough to actually get paid. So if they want to ask for money and you don't want to give them money, guys, feel free. And don't forget to put Wildman Audits in there again. I know you guys have been spamming that this whole time, and I do appreciate that. And I think you're going to enjoy this outro, Wildman. So if you can watch the video from your phone once you get out of there, I think you might like it. So with that said, I am going to go ahead and end this stream, and here comes the outro.
In the heart of the Vigilance Committee, where the sun sets low and the spirits run free, we stand together, hand in hand, watching over the sacred land. We're the keepers of the flame. In the Vigilance Committee, we'll never be the same. Through the trials and the tests, we'll always give our best. Through the storms and the darkest night, we'll shine our light, we'll stand and fight. For the ones we love, for the ones we've lost. In the Vigilance Committee, we'll bear the cost. We're the keepers of the flame. In the Vigilance Committee, we'll never be the same. Through the trials and the tests, we'll always give our best. Through the storms and the darkest night, we'll shine our light, we'll stand and fight. For the ones we love, for the ones we've lost. In the Vigilance Committee, we'll bear the cost. We're the keepers of the flame. In the Vigilance Committee, we'll never be the same. Through the trials and the tests, we'll always give our best. In the quiet of the night, we'll keep the watch, we'll hold on tight. In the Vigilance Committee, we'll stand tall. Together we'll rise, together we'll fall. We're the keepers of the flame. In the Vigilance Committee, we'll never be the same. Through the trials and the tests, we'll always give our best. In the heart of the Vigilance Committee, where the sun sets low and the spirits run free, we'll stand together, hand in hand, watching over the sacred In the heart of the Vigilance Committee, where the sun sets low and the spirits run free, we'll stand together, hand in hand, watching over the sacred land.